Hey rail fans, this is Bob from DeBob's N-Scale Man Cave. I'm inside the NMMRC Railroad Club and I'm about to give a little tour. It's a 4,000 square foot room underneath a auto parts store and liquor store in Coon Rapids, Minnesota. All the switches are hand built. And they use relays for switch units. They don't use tortoise machines, they use servos. What kind of engine's that?
It's an after.
I mean the model. I've never seen one like that.
Oh, they're turbines that are turbines rather. Union Pacific ran like 1949, 1952. They're like 5,000 horsepower, but a lot of them have a fuel tender behind them. They sucked a lot of, like, it's almost like coal, liquid coal. That's what they were burning. And but when one broke, it took the place of 4 or 5 engines. And so you had a lot of motor power, horsepower out of service. So then they quit doing them. And they just got the smaller engines at their time, like the SD40s and stuff.
I go deer hunting in the fall up north, and outside can cut these branches up. Off of, they cut trees down, they're just branches, and of course she stole some of them. Free, very free. Dries, but as you're doing it, you put several layers on, and then you put the gauze over it to make it stronger, so it doesn't rip so much. And as a reinforcement on the rubber, it says no thickness. Put the debugging right there.
I love that you guys have paper handles. That's true.
This is a servo that they hand made. Just bought the servo, made a mount, put it in here. It goes back and forth.
inside of the tunnel painted
This is tamvalleydepot.com. It's a servo controller expansion. Got a bunch of Burlington Northern engines up here.
Because it's birch, it's real heavy wood, or just the 3/4 inch, and 1/2 inch. Just a lot of weight. But if we did this on foam,
What we have here is a swing bridge.
it makes some noise.
Stop right here.
Man, this is just getting worse and worse. What happened here?
Just make it back, and then this track go on forever. And it ends here.
Yeah.
And 4 inch. I don't know.
Plans for some buildings. Some impressive balsa wood trestle.
I think.
I built things like this. Highest I ever worked was 42 stories, and the lowest was about 5 stories underground. Otherwise, they did all kinds of weird things. Just building, still.
All this beer over there. Yeah. Stack. Yeah.
All by themselves. When we put a whole bunch of them together, it doesn't work. Because they get disease or something. And, so when they do it by themselves, they do just fine. But it just worked really well. Right? And then up here, you want, when you get all the chips and stuff, and God was on my island, that's a river level. That's where they load their chips.
Hand-built switches. And a crossing. It's kind of the plan for the future. This whole yard has not been built yet. That's phase 2. That's basically the NorthTown yard in Columbia Heights, Minnesota, and part of the Duluth spillway for all the taconite that was going around the ships. And then you've got all this other main line that goes back there. Some other yards. And I have a future piece here to the left where a staging yard and comes back into the NorthTown yard.
Yeah, but there, you just get a ticket here, $40. But the other thing is they'll raise your insurance rate because he's kind of doing it through the ticket.
We got some facades right here.
During this planning, you get half as much. Ran this stone to fine.
Well, that's just because,
10 of these shaper dogs.
yeah.
Not 10 of the big ones, 10 of the small shaper dogs.
What do they cost, $12 a piece?
$12 a piece.
25 gallon.
And there's a yard underneath. No staging yard on this end.
Well, you get so much in there, it gets so packed, you make it half as long.
If we could make, so there's more around the drive, so we got better traction on it. What I found with mine at home, I built mine a little bit different. That when it doesn't want to run, if I push down on this side to tighten the belt back up, it's
Unless you had it
Aren't you gonna
spread
upholster
far
those
enough
seats?
apart, have your right or fully
Aren't you gonna upholster those seats?
No, this isn't mine. Just had to make the trucks and everything.
Really cheap, 72 for like $5 or $10 or something, $10.
Yeah.
$9.99.
But I found out at Ramona again,
The soap and water.
rally, because you don't want the oil, I'm gonna try and find
You
it.
gotta get all the mold release compound off.
Yeah.
You know, 6 different people, you had 6 paints. And then they put them on 6 people on a tongue depressor, and you pass, well, you kept the tongue depressor, but you passed the paint.
Oh, okay.
Passed the paint.
There we are. There's a Yeti. Well, it's the abominable snowman from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, it looks like. It's got blue hands.
Was even supposed to do that.
Yeah, we got a hiker. Well, there you have it, guys. What I just been to was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. NMMRC Model Railroad Club in Coon Rapids, Minnesota. Yeah. I would like to have a room that big, but in N scale. Oh, that would be awesome. I'd like to thank the guys at NMMRC, Jerry, Ed, and Walt for being so gracious of hosts and showing my wife and I the layout and giving us a bunch of tips on how to make trees, how they built some of the woodworking, the plans for the future, the next phase, which is phase 2, and some JMRI tips on how to control your trains. Then you got a lot of stuff there. Some stuff I didn't consider. I just found out about using servos. I'm like, wow, they use all their servos for their track. They hand build all their switches. I learned a bunch of stuff about that whole layout. Spent 3 hours there with them. I didn't get a lot of time to do any interviews. That I'm going to save for another time. I just wanted to get a kind of a brief teaser kind of video put together, and that's what I showed you. Currently, they're in the process of getting some funds put together to start building their second phase, which is the NorthTown yard and the Duluth spillway. They're building 2 helixes, one on the layout that's going to go down under the layout and into a yard underneath that second phase. It's going to be a great big long peninsula that's going to go out into their maintenance area, that they basically have all their tools and all their little workbenches and stuff like that for making trees and models and building switches and storing whatever. So they're going to be running out of space, so they're going to be possibly working on that next phase
coming this year. I did learn a lot, and it was a really cool layout. There's a lot of work to be done on it, as you probably can tell from this video. That's why it's called Part 1, because I intend on going back. I probably will be back there sometime in July of 2014. One of the videos I'm planning on doing is an interview with whoever, show me how to make their trees that they make. From start to finish, how do they build a tree to get it to look the way it looks and put it out on the layout. Also, when I was there, as you saw in the beginning, was my new sign. I happened to be walking into a store called Gordman's. If any of you have been there, in the home section, I found this sign while I was shopping with my wife, who happens to work at Gordman's. And I thought it was pretty cool, and I says that fits right in with the man cave theme that I have on my channel. Well, this is Bob from DeBob's N-Scale Man Cave. Hope to see you later. Happy model railroading. Toot toot! This is Bob again. I forgot to tell you, I'm going to be doing some more videos, and I've got probably 3 or 4, maybe even 5 lined up in the works. I've got another video coming out after this one about part of my trip up to the Twin Cities. And then I've got the follow-ups to the Popsicle Bridge that I have still yet to put together. But I know I promised it, and I'll get it out to you as soon as possible. So stay tuned.